Alright, hello, 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 how's everybody doing? So, I don't have too much time to play, a busy week, but wanted to get back and work on this large cargo VTOL. Trying to get some VTOL work done, so this needed some tuning. Figure work on this some, try to get this. Nothing's ever done, as you know, but I'll do a little work on it, but not a ton. So, one thing is I don't like how tall the vertical stabilizer is. That's one thing that's been bugging me. It's a little bit on the small side. Trying to decide if I want to split it up into twin tail. We won't work on that right now, but let's go over the build. This is an older build, so we'll play with it a little bit to kind of see where it's at and if we can make some marginal improvement, but we'll do a quick walk around. This took the systems from Night Owl, which was my small rescue VTOL. So it's got a couple turbines in there, and then they also power these blades, and so it can kind of work as a regular cargo aircraft, or it can work as a VTOL. Got a ramp in the back, space for 2 containers. That was part of its job, is to be able to do 2 containers, so it can do that. Needs a little bit of PID tuning work. It can self-load to the extent where you can pull the 2 containers in with this crane, so that's convenient and nice. You can get some good sized vehicles in here. Modulars and the modular tracks. Have side doors with air stairs, which is nice. So you can easily get in and out of the front of the aircraft here. Trying to just kind of even relearn some of this myself, so it's been a while. Let's see, we've got lighting here. So you can see red lights, white lights, and we can make them brighter or dimmer with the dimmer switch there for the dimmers. We have track, we can lock the different sections of the tracks, release the rear so it will slide off. Good for a little flight. Fire test. APU. One thing I'd like to do is I'm trying to do this in more vehicles, but I'm going to have to rip apart some systems. I've done it on trains already where, you know, I know a lot of people complain about the pressure major update. I think they added some great things with that, and it allows us to create some pressurized systems, which is really novel and cool as far as I'm concerned. And so like what I've done with some of the trains and have done with some of my trucks is I can actually go ahead and you know, when you build up pressure, that's when the pressure works. So what I want to do is like going forward, like a lot of my builds, especially aircraft, you know, you will build up pressure. You know, it'll be liquid for hydraulic, and you'll build up air for pneumatic. And so like this has simulated pneumatics for the engine starts. So let's see, cross bleed valve there. I gotta check. So you see the pressure's coming up. Once we get to a correct amount of pressure, you get the starter going. And we can turn on that gen on that side. You see the pneumatic pressure is coming up once we get enough air pressure, because I have the APU supplying air pressure just like it would IRL. Hold the starter till that comes up. That's up. Alright, good. I didn't put the fuel valve on, so I gotta do that again. There we go, fuel valve's on, so that would be good. Park brakes off. Alright, I'm gonna put the flaps 2 notches for takeoff. You see those start coming down. Let's get some of this system going here. So that, and then, so nothing's working right now as far as, like, if you look, we don't have control surfaces working, and the reason is the hydraulic pumps aren't on. So you turn the hydraulic system on, and now once the pressure builds up enough in the hydraulic system, you see the hydraulics working, or the pressure building up, and there comes our hydraulics. So if you don't turn on the systems, it's not going to work. Power connect there should have been done already, but that connects all of our avionics. Now that we're up on generator power, we can go ahead and we can get rid of the APU bleed, shut off the APU. The APU comes down, cross bleeds, logo. What do I have on? Strobes. I had strobes on. Those should be off. Cabin temperature, fire suppression, fire test APU. All right, good. So let's go ahead and start heading forward. This is working a little bit differently because of the vertical nature of it. So I have to have fan thrust going here. So I gotta play with it a little bit. And then let's see, I gotta increase my thrust. Not sure which key it's supposed to be. Spoiler flaps, okay. Should be either 1 or 3 to get these to go up. Hello, hello. Do I have a hydraulics mod? No, no hydraulics mod. I don't make any mods. Okay, space 0, thrust fan brakes. Okay, that's probably what I tapped. I bet you I tapped that. I should have looked at the seat first, but... Make sure I didn't do that. This is an older build, so I'm trying to relearn it. Trigger is false. Okay, make sure the trigger is false over here. Okay, that's good. Make sure I didn't hit any buttons on the way through. I don't think so. Rotor engaged, turbofan engaged, so I need that on. Okay, that's what it is. Alright. Again, just trying to relearn this build. It's been a while. There's turbofan engage. Alright. There we go. Alright, so now we're taxiing out. So. And because I sat there so long, we banged the wall, but I'm going to go ahead and let's disengage that really quickly because I forget half the controls on this. And then let's go ahead and just set the park brake real quick until I figure out what my controls are again. So I'm going to bring the thrust back, engage the turbofan, shut that off. There we go. I'm just going to do a vertical takeoff until I figure out all my other commands on this. Alright, we've got rotor engage. And let's go ahead. AP is usually my what do you call it? There we go. My gyro auto hover. There we go. Props ground. Getting a little bit of a I value wind up on this, so I need to work on that. Buddy, get out of the way. Let's go gear up. Try to figure this out. And like I said, this has been a long time since I've used this, so. Have flight spoilers. You see. Full flight spoilers there. How many hours do I have in stormworks? 7,000 something? Let me look. Let's see. I have almost 7,300 hours in stormworks. Coming for a vertical landing here. Start slowing down. Doing 310 knots there. Start slowing it down. Gotta index this gauge. Now we'll go a couple notch of flaps. Don't have the time to really completely redo my my VTOL systems, so that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid. So the nice thing with this aircraft is it goes over 300 knots, which for the size of the map is fast. You know, it's realistic speeds, and the map's tiny. You know, like to get to the Arctic's like 65 nautical miles, so you're going jet speeds to go short distances. One thing I might do is there's a new project I want to work on VTOL wise, and the problem is I don't have a ton of time to play, so I'm like, I could play with this, try to get this in a better state, or I could like make something new, but I'm trying to fight that urge to make something new. Gears coming down. The nice thing is with having the rotors engaged here, we can get to really slow speeds, which allows me to do really short landings. Because like this was designed so that, unfortunately, the devs made it so to get to the Arctic with cargo, you have to go to this island. So instead of putting one at the airport, which Deltars did show some, he did show some interest in maybe adding a cargo port at Tajin. So like I really don't have too much interest in like using VTOLs for this stuff. I would rather use a regular jet, but the problem becomes you can't land there. So by making this a VTOL, I can land at the cargo port in the Arctic and transport from mainland to Arctic. So. There we go. Steering is not as responsive as I would like. I've got nothing going on steering wise now. Did I trim it by accident? No. Why am I not steering? I don't, oh, it damaged it. That's why. Okay, it's just damaged. So that's fine. But yeah, so I don't know how much I'm gonna want to do with this old build. But we'll figure it out. It's got an APU, so you have power on the ground. You don't need to keep the engines running. You can do ground power as well, just like a real jet. And then I'll show you the crane. Crane is remote control. I'm trying to remember the frequency on this. It's probably enter it in here. Let's say 6. And then so you can use this. You can go out there, grab a container. So you just need a container mover to move it close to the rear of the aircraft, and then once it's moved close to the rear of the aircraft, you can grab it with this crane, and then you would raise it up, pull it in, and then you bring in the first one, and then this one will go over the top of the container, so you can drop it, the first container in, go over the top, grab the second container, load that in, and then you've got both containers loaded. You can head off with that. So that works out well. Let's see. So I have to work on a bunch of stuff. This is the hopper cart port. So if you're doing an air start, because you need air pressure to start the engines just like you would in real life. And just as in real life, if your APU is in op, you would use a hopper cart to give you air to start your engines. On this side, you have your ground services panel. So you have, that's fuel for the APU. Unfortunately, we don't have small little turbine engines we can use. Yeah, so this is the ground service panel. You have the jet fuel diesel for the APU. I wish they would come out with a small turbine, and then ground power. Have all your different fuels there. Air stairs. But yeah, so I'm gonna make this a real short video. I'm gonna go ahead and go make some dinner. But I just want to play with this a little bit. Not gonna have too much time to stream until next week, but I think we'll finish up there. Just make it a real quick one. Just wanted to kind of play with this build and then kind of get back into it a little bit. So thank you guys for watching. If you like the video, give it a like. If you're new and you enjoyed it, consider subscribing. And I'll see you guys next one. Bye.